It's 20 past 8. It's Sunday and I'm just taking off from the Spring Hill rest area. Wilcannia is 74 and then we're going to go to Burke, the back of Burke. Alright, into the sun, let's go. Where did my navigators just go to? They just switched themselves off. Okay. That's another rest area called Dolo Hill on there. Ugh. I couldn't see me sticking with that one. Yuck. Rest area. 24-hour stop. Where can you camp there? Hey? Something just crossed the road just up here. I'm not sure what it was. Another roadside 24-hour stop courtesy of the New South Wales government called Netally Hill Rest Area. Netally Hill. It at least has a few little shrubs and things around, it appears. Not really impressed with the standard of their overnight rest areas. I think they could do a little bit better than that. They're just car parks. This road just coming here up off on the left is the road up to White Cliffs called Opal Miners Way. I went to White Cliffs on a trip when I had a Land Rover. Now we're approaching Wilcannia Township. Straight ahead. Big trucks. This is the Darling River. Hello, darling. I think that was flooding, wasn't it? A few weeks ago, a couple of months ago. Anyway, I don't know. We're just going to go through, well, we've been through Wilcannia, I think that's the end of it. And we'll head towards Cobar. Cobar is 259 from Wilcannia. I've got half a tank of fuel as that guy goes flying past, but I also am carrying my reserve of 40 litres, and I think at some stage I might just empty them into the tank and reduce a bit of weight on the vehicle. So apparently this is the Darling floodplain, and well, this is where all the floods are supposed to come. distance on that tree line is Curraweena Creek, which had lots of water in it. Now we're about we're 250 to Cobar. There's water in that creek too. I hope this is being picked up on the video. Anyway, 250 to Cobar with nothing in between. I'm just going to pull into this little stopping bay over here and perhaps make a cup of coffee or something. Looks like the birds have been out on the rubbish tip. Well, surprisingly, I didn't actually.
Continue on Barrier Highway for 252 kilometres.
Thank you, Karen. I didn't actually stop for coffee. I programmed my GPSs to take me to Burke. Everyone's heard the expression, the back of Burke. Well, that's where I'm going. I'll actually just go into Burke. You can see off to the left and also to the right that the floods that did come through here, there was an awful lot of rain recently and it's really greened the place up. It gives it a whole new complexion when there's been water dropped on the ground. Everything goes nice and green and feed for the cattle. Apparently this is McCullochs Range. Goonalga Creek. Oh, goats down there in the creek. 3 of them in the creek bed. There are goats there off to the side in there. South Wales spread before us. It's actually very pretty through here. Lots of trees, grass, stuff. Well, I'm coming up to a rest area called Baden Park and I'm going to pull in and have a cup of coffee because it's been 2 hours since I left. Roughly 2 hours. Yeah, it is actually. Oh, yeah, there's a few people here, isn't there? Okay. There's the shade, not much shade.
In 100 metres, turn left onto Barrier Highway 832.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. I will. Later.
Turn left onto Barrier Highway 832.
Right, well, I had a little cup of coffee there and checked things over. Things are fine. Now we have 172 to Cobar. Ivanhoe, 143 off to the right. Yay! Tilpa, 117 off to the left. Whoa, we're in the outback now. Apparently that's a roadhouse over there. I don't even know. Huh. Oh, and it's a big one too. What one's that? It's the Cooper City. No, that's an advertisement for Cobar. Well, there you go. That just sprung up out of nowhere. It's 41 k's from Bullock Park. Interesting. When I think about looking at that roadhouse there, which took me completely by surprise, but I don't remember it being there last trips that I've been. Anyway, it got me thinking about the amount of money that governments tend to waste on what are really unimportant things, like trying to get Australia into the nuclear age by buying US nuclear submarines or British ones. Australia don't need nuclear submarines. What good are they going to do? If anybody ever listened to Paul Keating's tirade, if you like, with that ABC journalist, Laura, he actually made some quite salient points. The Chinese are not going to invade Australia. They don't have the necessary means to actually do so, even if they wanted. So why are we buying submarines? What good is it going to do? Wouldn't we be better off as Australians having those gazillions of dollars pumped into infrastructure even out here in the outback, for instance, spending it on getting people out here, setting up some sort of industries or whatever it might be to add value to what it is we produce, because quite frankly right now all we are is a gigantic mine for the rest of the world. Even lithium, we have, I think, the second largest or maybe even the largest deposits of lithium in the world, and we're going to do nothing about it. We're not going to process it, we're just going to dig it out of the ground and give it to everybody else to make batteries. What is wrong with Australia and their politicians? Get on with it. I'll be long dead and gone, but I worry about the future of this country and the way it's actually being led. I mean, having had that little rant, it actually it shows that roadhouse out there, somebody actually has a little bit of vision, that they have actually invested money and put that out there 150 k's from Cobar in the outback. Now I notice it's a fuel station. It would have been interesting to see whether they have provision for charging electric vehicles, and there is another thing that perhaps we need to think about, is electric vehicles out here. Not for a few years, I wouldn't imagine. I just passed a sign which says detour 2 k's ahead, right where this Buller Park rest area is. So that's at Buller Park is 500 k's on the right, 500 metres. And what was the detour about? That looks a nice little rest area from the outside there, treed, and oh yeah, that looks quite nice. You can stay there. Buller Park, roadwork a kilometre ahead, okay. Roadwork, yeah, 40 kilometres ahead, 40 kilometres per hour, detour. This might be flood damage from those floods. Here's a truck coming around the corner. So, I don't know how far the detour goes. Not far, I would think. Ooh. Yep, flood damage. Off to the right. This is where the money goes, flood damage repair. What Well, there you go, and those boys are working on a Sunday, and it's actually Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all those mummies out there. Now we're back on the track. These vehicles are on some sort of a trial. Yeah, they've all got, it might be a variety club bash, because I passed a couple of what I thought were police vehicles earlier, and they were stopped at the side of the road. So here we go. Yeah, this is probably a variety club bash. Look at them all. Wonderful. Yay, go for it, guys. They will have a lot of fun. Hey. There's a lot of them too. Wow. What a bonus. Cancer Council, the last vehicle had a thing about the Cancer Council. Fantastic. Crikey, there's an awful lot of them. Wow. That's amazing. And this is probably the chow wagon. I'm kidding. Right, we're coming up to another rest area, which is the Lilyvale rest area. We're about 94 k's out of Cobar. And you may be wondering, why do I keep putting all these rest areas on the video? Well, it's for my information, because if I ever come back this way, I like to plan my stops beforehand, and I look at the videos. Yeah, well, it's just another big car park. Mainly for trucks, that one. Oh, there's more variety people coming. Look at the lights. Yay, this is a big deal. I think they've all brightly painted coloured cars. We'll get some from the rear as well. Look at them all. Where are you all going? They're invading WA. They're going to South Australia first, and then they'll probably go to WA. And then they won't come back home. Once they've been to WA, that's it. Yay! There's all manner of vehicles too. Okay. I don't think this guy is one. He's just an ordinary traveller. Well, there you go. Look at them all. Where are you all going? They're invading WA. They're going to South Australia first, and then they'll probably go to WA. And then they won't come back home. Once they've been to WA, that's it. Yay! There's all manner of vehicles too. Okay. I don't think this guy is one. No, he's just an ordinary traveller. Some goats off there. Don't know if that's picking them up. I hope so. Here's even more. There's hundreds of them. Amazing. Where are you all going? There'd be 150 cars in that convoy, all spread out, and I didn't catch all. Well, this is actually unbelievable, because another probably 30 cars past me just going backward that way. Now there's more. There is so many cars in that convoy. It is absolutely amazing. I have to find out what was going on. It's some sort of a charity run variety bash. Look at them, there's even more here. There'd be 200, more than 200 maybe. Maybe there's a gigantic bachelor and spinsters ball in the outback somewhere, and they're all making their way towards it. We're going to have a gigantic orgy. Look at them. And they all have their little name tags on the top. Wow. that one had a machine gun on the top. This is crazy. Almost makes me want to turn around and follow them. I'm curious. This is Meadow Glen rest area I'm coming up to now. That's a nice in-off-road one by the look of it. Oh, it's just another car park. You can actually go backwards into the bush and camp, so that's a suitable one. Next stop, Cornish 64, or Cobar 63. There's more of these guys, goodness me. I stopped filming ages ago because there were 2 or 3 other groups come past, but how many of these guys are there? Gee whiz, unbelievable. I've been playing the fuel indicator game with the odometer. And I'm 12 k's from Cobar and the light just came on, so theoretically I should have, I think, at least 4 litres of fuel left in the tank, which should give me on current consumption 28 k's. I haven't bothered using my 20 litres out there. I just want to give this a test because I know that the injectors are probably worn and need either replacing or refurbishing. I think you can refurbish them. Towing this trailer behind me, the best consumption I had since leaving Port Augusta and the car being fixed was 7 kilometres per litre. So it's going to be interesting when I get into Cobar. I know exactly where I'm going to go as far as the fuel stations are concerned, but we're only 9.7 from it now, so I'm pretty confident we'll make it in there. Well, this is Cobar. Now, there is big clouds out there. Now, here comes Liberty. We'll pull in here. We're fueled up in Burke. Now we're not Burke. Where are we? Cobar. Cobar. Now we're heading out to Burke because it's only 12:30. Actually, I might pull up over here and just do a quick text to the lovely Kay. Okay. Burke is 159. That's where the next fuel is. And we're now on the Kidman Way. Not Nicole. Doesn't belong to her. Or maybe she's part of the Kidman family empire. I don't know. There are not many rest stops on this stretch of road. There are 3 and they're all truck stops. One is 95 k's ahead, the next one is 145, and then we get into Burke, which is where the last one is at 159 or something. So we're going to make it, it's only 20 minutes to 1, give a couple of hours at high speed of about 80 k's, say 16, 162 hours, yeah. We'll just turn along here at our current rate of 2250 to 2500 revs. Incidentally, my fuel consumption there was about 6.78 or 98 or something, so we're averaging around about 7, which is not real great, I don't think. in the little campsite I was at last night, there was some limited phone reception, like Telstra reception, and I managed to pick up the weather radar, and there were clouds, and there was a big, like a cold front coming across from sort of Albany, right across the Nullarbor towards Port Augusta. And then on the other side there were big clouds showing rain showers actually in the area in which I'm now driving. And I'm just sort of looking, it's clear now, and there are sort of scattered clouds around, but I hope I don't get rain, because the tent was nice and dry when I put it together this morning. And surprisingly, when I actually opened it up last night, after over a week, it was quite dry. I did find a slight damp area at the end, at one end of it, but that was normal. That was not surprising, because that was where a lot of water had actually pooled when I packed it up. Look closely, there are emus coming up on the left here. I'm slowing down just to show you. Two of them. I saw their profile in the distance. Emu. Here's a little view of the Kidman Way in reverse. There's not an awful lot to see. Quite a lonely stretch of road. But it's pleasant. It's just a bit bumpy, as probably the footage is coming out all sugary. And I'm not the only one on the road. Oh, it's a Navara 2.5 STR CR, just exactly the same as this. Woo, look at that. While I'm travelling this lonely stretch of road, the Gator camera, the reversing camera that I fitted, there is a video on my YouTube channel, and it has been so much of a boon when using this trailer, in the sense that when I went after a week to rehook the trailer up, I got it first time right on the nose. It's just brilliant. So anyone who doesn't have a reversing camera and has to back up and get somebody to point them in the direction of like where your tow ball is, I would suggest you spend $130 and go and get one. Doesn't matter what brand, they're all pretty much of a muchness. But if you fit it, and you fit it smack dab over your tow bar, you will never ever have another problem in backing up to your trailer and hooking it up unassisted. I think I'm going to get passed by a truck in a minute. We're just cresting a hill. He's been steadily gaining on me, so when he shows his indicator that he's going to pass, I'll back off a little bit and let him go. No, it's a bit of a hilly country here. Diesel thing. Here's more goats coming up on either side of the road. Curraweena rest area, 2 k's. I might stop for a cup of coffee. Anyway, I thought just passed my mind, as it does when I'm driving on these long stretches. Goats must be pretty smart because you never ever see them as roadkill. Yet every other bit of roadkill is kangaroos, so kangaroos must be awfully dumb. Time for a coffee at a place called Curraweena. It's a rest area and it's just coming up here. Curraweena, where are we? We're on the left. Oh, it's even got toilets, come on. 500 metres on the left. Lucky me. Curraweena, rest area, right over there, right in the distance there, that's where I'm heading, that nice little shelter. And this is one that you could actually camp at. Now, let me have a think.
In 150 metres, turn left onto Kidman Way B87.
Yep, right, thanks Karen. Karen, you can go to sleep for a little while now because I'm going to have a cup of coffee. Night night. Sometimes you have to make decisions on the spot, and I think I've just made one. I'm currently here at Curraweena rest area, which is 61 k's south of Burke. Now I've been on the road since 8:30 this morning. It's now coming up for 2, so there we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a bit hours maybe. And I'm thinking, well, why am I pushing myself on? It's not going to make much difference if I don't get to Burke tonight, because I'll do that 88 k's or 61 k's in the morning, and then my next stop would be, I think, Goonalga. No, it might not be. It might be a long day, but looking at the maps, and the only drawback, of course, is I don't have internet access out here. I have my offline maps, but I'm not sure whether they will give me a rough guesstimate of what my next plot might be. I'll have to check that later. But in the meantime, what I'm saying here is, I think I'm going to stay here. Over the back, just over the back, is a nice little flat camping type area off this car park type thing. There are fresh toilets, well, not fresh toilets, but they're nice new toilets over there. And I've got everything that I need. So, and at 5 to 2, I think that's enough for today. So that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to go and set. I wish people would clean up after themselves. I'm just going to go up and finish my coffee and then drive into the campsite thing area. So we go in here off the road a little bit. Yeah, it's flat enough. It's in off the road. It's no worse than any other place I've been. Let me just have a look and see where might be the best place for me to go. Right over, I'd like to be out of the way for when the yobs come in at night, if they are yobs. There's a nice little fireplace there. There's a nice one there. And if I were to let's have a look over here. You never really want to take the very first one, do you? I think I see one just over there. Where's the sun? I've got to think about the sun too in the morning. nice flat ground anyway. I think this one. Let me look. Well, it's going to be a day of experiments today, because having made that decision that I'm going to stay here, I've looked for suitable campsites and I found plenty of them. However, it dawned on me that when I get to Ryan's and I dump this trailer at his house and leave it there, I'm going to have to return to WA using my alternate camping system. And this is one of them. I've put my awning up and I have my stretcher tent. I also have that Aldi pop-up tent too, which I haven't tried, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to actually have a go at how I'm going to camp on my return journey. Now, I could be in for a big problem, because if you look at that sky up there, I told you earlier, I'd been watching the clouds. This could be another disaster, but hey, what's camping unless you get a little bit of weather? So I'm hopeful actually that the rain will stay away and I should be nice and comfy in there. Well, my little experiment is set up, and I really have to do this because I won't be bringing this camper trailer back to WA. And in a way, I'm sort of testing out Aldi products, apart from the stretcher tent, which was, that's an Azito thing. I have an Aldi sleeping bag in there. I have an Aldi 4-person tent. I have a Kmart sleeping pad in there. So I hope that I'm going to be nice and warm tonight. The other thing that strikes me is how out of practice you can get. Having spent that week in Port Augusta in the comfort of a motel, when I actually broke camp this morning, I don't mind admitting you, I made a bit of a blunder. I thought I'd removed all the poles from inside the tent, and when I was cranking it up, I wondered why one of them wouldn't collapse. And it took me about 5 minutes before I realised I had left one pole still within the tent that was still attached and it wouldn't come down. So I had to undo it all. This stretcher tent, it's been sitting out in a cover on the roof rack. It needs to dry out because it was a little bit damp underneath, but I'm sure the wind will get in underneath and it will be fine. I've aired it, I've been airing it out for half an hour or so now, but I got here and made the decision at about 2 o'clock and it's now 3:30. So I deserve this, and I haven't even thought about what I'm going to have for dinner. Anyway, I don't care. There's plenty in that freezer. Welcome to my camp. Right, since making that last scene, I've erected the, this is called an awning extra, and it comes from Iron Man. And it fits into standard awnings, right? And it pegs out like that. In effect, it's a lean-to, but what it does do is it gives you that little bit more. That's not very, it's not very neat looking, but shit, I don't care. Anyway, what I'm thinking about now is turning this stretcher tent around and facing it out, because that will give me just that little bit extra cover, wouldn't you think? And before I forget, this is my $49 Aldi lamp. Look at this one. We'll turn him on. On off. Where's he on off? That one. Look at that. What do you reckon? That should give out a fair bit of light. I thought that was a really great little product, so I snapped it up when I saw it. Well, I did turn the tent around, but it was really of no advantage, and I'm too lazy to move my floor, because if I have to get up to go to the toilet in the middle of the night, then I have nothing to step onto except red dirt. So I decided to move it the other way. You'll see that there are my night shoes sitting there ready. I'm ready for bed, but it's too early and I haven't had dinner. So here we are at this, I've forgotten what it is, Curraweena or something, camping area. Very nice. Once you get in off the road, when you're allowed to, these places can be really, really good. So tonight I'm cooking between two camps, let's say. I have my going home set up over there, and I'm actually using the cooker and the facilities on the trailer to cook the meal. A, because it's more convenient, and B, I'm used to it right now. Well, it's just after 8 o'clock and I spent the night under my awning and in my stretcher tent. It was very, very cold, and as an example, have a look at the moisture that's on the top of this camper. So it is no fun when you're trying to pack up stuff that is damp and freezing cold. I even had my gloves on this morning. Anyway, who's complaining? I could be dead.